Hey everyone, welcome back to the dad section, and today I'm going to be giving you 5 tips on how to husband with your pregnant wife. But first, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment down below, and of course subscribe, hit that notification bell, that way you know when there's new content ready for y'all to view. So, let's go ahead and get right into it. So our first tip for today on how to husband with your pregnant wife is going to be going with the flow and accepting change. Now, as simple as that may seem, I know there's a lot of people out there that it's actually not that easy. You guys had a great time, you made the baby, but baby's on the way. So now it's time for you to come to terms with, hey, life's going to change. The sooner you come to terms with that, the easier life's going to be, especially throughout this pregnancy. Come to terms with the fact that your wife, she's going to be moving slower, that you're not going to be doing things as fast paced. Things as simple as going to the grocery store. I have a very fast stride. It's not a long stride, but it's at least fast. And my wife, she's always been able to keep up with me. And, whenever she was pregnant, she couldn't. She'd have to tug on my arm and she'd have to just be like, hey, you got to slow down. So it's as simple as accepting those little things and as big as accepting the fact that, hey, a third person's coming into our life and it's going to be amazing. Now, there's definitely challenges along the way. There's challenges throughout the entire pregnancy, challenges throughout the entire baby's life. I mean, our kid's only 4 months old, and the challenges have just begun. So the sooner that you're able to accept change, the easier life is going to be throughout this entire pregnancy for both you and your wife. All right, tip number 2 is going to be perspective. Perspective is everything when it comes to this pregnancy. Keep this in mind. If there's one thing that I want you to take away from this video, is going to be perspective, because all of your hard work is done. You made the baby, you had a great time with it. Well, the real hard work's about to begin, and it's not on you, it's on her. Doesn't matter how many mood swings or how many, whatever you want to call it, thrown your way, it's going to be 10 times worse for her. And guess what? It's going to feel like hell for you. No, not what she's going through. So the importance of tip number 2 is so that you can understand what is her perspective. Yeah, life might be a little bit more difficult for you, might be a little more uncomfortable, but you don't really know what uncomfortable is, especially in her world, because she's got an entire human being growing in her torso. So keep in mind the stuff that she is going through. She's not only going to be going through a physical change with her tummy, she's going to be going through, her ankles, it could be her thighs, it could be anywhere. Stretch marks are going to happen. And then it doesn't even stop with just physical stuff. It's going to be emotional. So much chemical imbalance is going to be going on. She's no longer going to be having the menstrual cycle. She's going to be moving forward with these new chemicals, with growing that little tiny human inside of her. So things are going to get a little wired. I don't want to say crazy, because they're definitely not crazy, but at times it's going to feel hectic and crazy. So just know that she's going through a lot more turmoil than you actually are. So if you keep in mind the perspective of what she is going through, the easier, like I said, this is what it's going to be. The easier your life is going to be. The sooner that you can accept these changes, tip 1, accept these changes, and the sooner that you can accept that it's not all about you anymore, it's all about her, it's all about what's changing with her and what kind of a hell she's going through, the sooner that you can come to terms with these 2 tips, I promise you, your life is going to be so much easier. So we roll into tip number 3 actually smoothly whenever it comes to relating to these other tips. We just talked about how change is going to be happening and how your perspective needs to be focused on her and what she's going through. So tip number 3 is all about patience. As soon as you can grasp that term patience, once again, the easier your life is going to be. But it's so much easier said than done. There's a lot of different practices that you can do. If you're trying to get pregnant and you're watching this video, look at some ways so that you can deal with patience and to calm yourself down, because there's going to be a lot of situations where, you're not going to be able to calm down. I am, I don't want to say hot-headed, but there are times where I lose my patience like that. So it took a lot of trial and error for us to not blow up and to have stupid arguments, because that's what it's all going to come down to. It's not going to be arguing about serious things. It's going to be about the dumbest things that you could imagine. So the sooner that you can find this patience and you can move on and move forward, you guys are going to be a whole lot happier and have less arguments about the dumbest things. All right, so step number 4 is all going to be about you being the grocery getter, the errand boy, whatever you may call it, but you are in charge of making sure that your spouse has everything that she needs when it comes to this pregnancy. It doesn't matter what your spouse needs, you better find a way to go get it because that is going to be your job. If you can go get those errands, if you can go get that piece of chocolate, that cleaning utensil, that whatever it is she may need, no matter how crazy it may seem, she's going to be happy. And she's going to be happy. And like we've been saying through this entire video, when she's happy, you're going to be happy. It doesn't matter if it's going to seem tedious or anything like that. In that moment during this pregnancy, that's going to be the most important thing to her right then and there. If she has to have that pickle or that piece of chocolate, that's going to be her biggest focus. So as soon as she is satiated by that item, the happier y'all are going to be because it's going to be all snuggles and crap like that once she's taken care of. So tip number 5, I think, closes everything nicely. It's all about being outgoing. So if you can be outgoing for your spouse, you're going to have no problem with hitting every single one of these 4 tips that we said before this one. If you can be outgoing, then you can accept change. You can accept that you're going to have to go with the flow and that things are going to be different. If you're outgoing, then you can see from her perspective what needs to be done, what's happening right now, what's actually going on, how's her morning sickness. If you're outgoing, then you'll be able to get that perspective and you can help her out in every single way that she needs. If you're outgoing, patience is going to come just like that. It's not going to be smooth every single time that you have to be patient, but as long as you're staying outgoing and you're trying your best for your spouse, patience is going to come a whole lot easier. If you're sitting there and you're looking for an argument, you're going to find that argument. It's going to be stupid and it's not going to be worth it. So be outgoing for not just yourself, but be outgoing for your spouse. That way you don't have to have those stupid arguments. And finally, if you're outgoing by going out of your way and getting groceries, getting chocolate, getting those things that you know that your spouse is craving, if you can go ahead and knock that out before they even ask, guess what? That's one errand that you don't even have to worry about. That's one thing that you don't have to think is tedious because you've already showed up with it, whether it's flowers, chocolates, anything like that. If you are outgoing and you can get that done before she even thinks about it, she's going to love you a whole lot more. She's going to be a whole lot happier with you. And guess what? It's going to be a good night. I'm just saying, if you follow these 5 tips, you're going to have a real good time, a real good life, and a real good wife. So do yourself a favor, follow these 5 tips. I really hope that they helped you out. If you liked this video, give us 2 thumbs up. Leave us a comment down below on what exactly you thought about the video. Subscribe, hit the notification bell. Of course, check out all of our other videos. I'm going to have them linked somewhere on this page. And of course, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.